Have you been overthinking lately? Have you been ruminating on your thoughts, who you're supposed to be, what are you supposed to do, where are you supposed to end up in life? And these thoughts are just running and running and running. Maybe you're going through a period of that right now. Maybe that's just something you've been dealing with for years. As somebody who has been an overthinker and something I still work towards and try to pull back on, as my natural default is to process as much as possible. I totally understand what you're going through. I totally understand the feeling of almost going mentally insane. That you try to process everything to avoid failure, to avoid humiliation, to avoid whatever pain it is that we are trying to avoid through overthinking. Today, I want to share with you a strategy that I use for myself to help essentially remove the overthinking altogether, or if anything, reduce it to a very, very benign problem that really isn't a problem anymore. And this is something that I've passed on to all the clients that I work with, and it does wonders. Quickly, before I get into that, one thing I want to mention, just as something I'm really excited about. In this week, I'm going to be opening up my calendar for one-on-one calls with you guys. Typically, I get all my clients through my academy. I have a jiu-jitsu academy that I run and operate, and I've been doing it through there for the last while, but I am finally opening it up to you. So if you want to get early first dibs on the calendar, click the button below, sign up to my newsletter, and I'm also going to send you my 3-step identity rebuilding guide. The funniest thing about overthinking is, even if you process everything, which you can't, but let's say you did, within a moment's notice, something can shift in the landscape and it completely throws the whole process off. I would overthink on a particular plan for a business. You think and you think and you think on it, and you have this expectation that people might be upset if you don't do this, or they might love it if you do that. And what happens? Something shifts that I could not process, could not even catch. And then I end up going, well, that's not what I expected at all. That went better than I thought. Or that went way worse. I thought they would absolutely love it. And it happens all the time. And simply because we're not gods, we cannot factor everything. And so the method I'm going to give you right now is not complicated. It really isn't complicated. It's actually very simple. But one thing I've learned for my 31 years of life is there is no magic bullet, but there are strategies that are boring. They're boring, but they work with enough time. I tell all my clients, it's with time. Do not rush this process. Don't expect it to happen overnight. It won't happen overnight. If it does, be absolutely grateful as to how that even happened for you. You can just sing to the stars and do what you need to do to celebrate that marvelous revelation. But oftentimes it is not like that. It takes consistency, patience, and grace, and a commitment to the process. I call this the daily sandwich practice. You see, we want to make sure that we are as much in the present moment as possible while still touching the future in terms of what we want to do, what we want to become, and also having a grip and a touch with our past, our shadow, making sure there's no stone unturned, making sure that we are not falling victim to our trauma and our complexes that can breach through our conscious awareness and take control, make us do things and think things that we otherwise would not want to do or think. The daily sandwich starts like this. You wake up in the morning. What is the first thing you do? Is it scrolling on your phone? Is it worrying about what you're going to be doing for the rest of the day? Tasks, stresses. If those are your routines, those patterns, you can imagine that after waking up from an 8-hour sleep, a 7-hour sleep, your brain is fresh, primed, ready for information, ready for a state of being, a state of mind. And so we want to make sure that the first thing we do in the morning is we pump it with really, really good, positive, strong, committed, yet relaxed direction. So when you wake up in the morning, I want you to create a sacred space in your room, a space that is just for you. Perhaps, if you're, like for myself, I have a wife, and so we sleep in the same bed. And so in the morning, she'll have to go and pick up my daughter, or wake up my daughter rather, and I have that space for myself. Maybe you have your own room, so then you can just stay in your own room. Absolutely no problem. Find yourself a sacred space. It's your alone time. It could be anywhere from 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Does not have to be long whatsoever. That's the best part. You sit down, and what we're essentially going to be doing first is setting yourselves up to be awake, alert, but relaxed and calm. So you're going to do 5, just simple 5 deep inhales, deep exhales. Try to pay attention to the sound of your breathing. If thoughts come and go, that's fine, no problem. Just let them flow in and out. Don't grab a hold of them. Don't try to bring them down and feel the emotion of the thought of whatever it is, whether it's groceries and picking up kids and doing all these things. Try to put that away for that time being. And so when it comes in, let it go. After 5 deep inhales and deep exhales, we're now going to get into the mantra portion. Some people call it priming. Essentially, what you're going to be doing is, I classify in 3 categories. Now, you can be specific. You have to be specific because your context matters. Your life is different from everybody. But these are the general frameworks that I give to my clients, and also what I did for myself. Number 1, you want to ensure that what you're doing is going to help you for the future. So one mantra, for myself, is I want to continue to learn and study and grow as much as I can today, in order for whatever outcome to happen for me in the future can happen when it does. So I am essentially saying I want to make sure that today is a day where I can gather information, become better, even 1%. And that is the tone. The tone is even 1% better is perfectly okay with me, as long as I continue on this trajectory for months and years to come. And when the outcome happens, it will happen, which is very, very important. So you set a tone for the future by saying what you're going to be doing today, and then allowing the outcome to land when it does, because then you don't want to be fixated on the outcome. When you get fixated on the outcome, you blink by your days. You don't really think about what's going on day to day. You just want to fast forward to the future. Number 2, you want to allow and tell yourself to feel life throughout the day. What do I mean by that? So whenever you have particular emotions, happiness, sadness, excitement, jealousy, envy, you are to allow yourself to feel all those emotions. Allow yourself to be a connoisseur of emotions. You are not to be fixated and obsessed over any one, though. That is a really important caveat. You are to feel all emotion, but you are not to obsess or embody or identify as any of them. You want to just touch and go and allow it to pass through you uninterrupted. Now, of course, if we're in a public setting and we get angry about something, we don't want to throw a tantrum. Of course, there is a boundary that we need to set. Absolutely. But if you have to excuse yourself to go to the washroom, if you have to excuse yourself to go for a walk, and then allow that emotion to play out, you absolutely do it. The more you keep that clear, because here's what I've learned, throughout my years. Emotions that you choke and control, try to anyway, eventually come back to bite. You cannot control an emotion. You can't suppress it long enough. Oftentimes, emotions trail all the way down into the unconscious mind, and they're connected to a story. They're connected to a memory that you've had. So maybe something triggers you, gets you angry because there was some memory linked all the way down to the unconscious mind. And so in order to move towards integration, ego-soul integration, you have to keep everything open and keep those channels flowing so that one day you can be presented with information that gives you some level of revelation about yourself. So keep all emotions clear and open. Feel all emotion. Now, that's number 2. And then number 3, leave no stone unturned. If there are things, stories, memories that I need to contend with, Contend with them. Do not neglect them. Do not avoid them. Do not suppress them. You deal with them. You deal with them when they're small. And if it's a big challenge that you got to deal with, then break it into pieces and deal with it day by day in small chunks. Excuse me. You don't have to do it all at once. Absolutely not. It's about consistency and being just there for yourself every single day. And so that is the shadow work aspect. So you have the future, telling yourself, what am I going to be doing today to help myself in the future, just that 1%. If the outcome happens when it happens, great, but I'm more fixated on making sure that I can feel this day and enjoy it and just make any kind of improvement. Number 2, allow your emotions to flow. Feel all emotions pass through you when they come up. If you feel the emotion, don't try to control it. Don't try to choke it. And if there are emotions you're trying to choke, that's something really interesting to investigate. And then number 3, leave no stone unturned within the unconscious. Make everything as much as possible from the unconscious conscious to you. So that when you keep the ego and soul connected, intertwined, your intuition is sharper, your sense of calmness is sharper and more relaxed. You feel this beautiful state of content that isn't rebelling against ambition. You still want to be ambitious, but you're no longer obsessed about it. You're no longer just driven to insanity. You feel you stop overthinking by keeping the ego and soul connected and intertwined. Because there's a layer that God exists within you, and that as you unravel, unpack yourself, you are rewarded for such a deed. And your reward is peace and calmness. Those 3 things, the shadow work as well, the present work and the future work, now you live out your day. Go about your day and try to do your best to practice the things that you set out in the morning. The day ends, now you're at the nighttime portion. I call nighttime reflections. This is now you reflect upon the day and give yourself gratitude, grace, kudos, some slight corrections that you can work on to make yourself a little bit better the next day. But you always want to remember this. You always want to make sure for yourself, anything self-discovery, anything integration, curiosity, adventure, love, compassion with a firm hand. You want to apply just the right amount of pressure on yourself that you feel inclined and you feel the motivation to be better, but not so much that you crush your spirits. Of course, you also don't want to have no boundaries at all. If you don't by any means allow yourself to say, well, here are things that I should be doing instead of this. I should have been more calm today. I should have been more patient with this individual. If you don't do any of those things, then you're not learning anything at all. Then you're getting stuck in the ego realm and ego inflation and turns to avoidance. Avoidance becomes suppression. Suppression becomes repression. Repression is now you are unaware of what you're doing, which then starts to take control of you. And I have other videos that go deeper into that topic if you're interested in knowing more about it. But reflect on your day. Look back. Really be vivid about the memory. What was it that brought you joy? What was it that also brought you anger? What was it that brought you sadness? What was it that got you excited? What was something you did you were proud of? And what was something you did that maybe you could have done just a little bit better, just that 1%? At the end of that reflection, you thank yourself for this day. You thank the universe, you thank the God for whatever happened that day. And that's it. 5-10 minutes again in that sacred space of yours. And you repeat this process every day, nonstop. And what will happen, who knows, maybe in a week, maybe a couple weeks, a couple months, it's hard to say. With optimizing as well, you do have to tweak and refine it as time moves on. Keep it fresh. You will feel calmer. You will feel something different. Now, that's just one aspect of the Rule 3 method, which is to rediscover purpose, rediscover who you truly are, and move towards an ego-soul integrated lifestyle. That's just one aspect of it. But oftentimes, it's the simple things done consistently over time that's going to reap the most reward for you. If this resonated with you and you want to take it a step further, click that button below. It'll send you over to my website, sign up to my monthly newsletter, and in return, I want to send you my 3-step identity rebuilding guide. It's a toolkit that you can use to help you navigate throughout your identity loss and get back to a place of purpose, get back to a place of authenticity, and live a life that feels true to you and no longer influenced by other people and is something that you desire and you are driven towards. And of course, as this big announcement, I am going to be opening up my calendar for one-on-one calls with all of you, and I cannot wait to meet you all. And this is something truly exciting, and I cannot wait to be a part of your integration journey. So for those of you that are new to the integration journey or already on it, I would absolutely love to work with you and help you along that path as I've done for myself and the clients that I work with. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next video.